What is curing of concrete? This is a very short, simple, and easy explanation of the curing process of concrete. My name is Arslan, and welcome to my channel, The Third Dimension, which is all about civil engineering and 2D and 3D design. So let's get started. What is the curing of concrete? Well, we have an infographic prepared in which we have a few thumb rules, a few methods, and some ideal conditions, and then we have the final summary in the end. So, what is the curing of concrete? Curing is the period in which concrete gains 99% of its strength while we provide suitable conditions for it to do so. So that's the definition of curing. Once the concrete is casted and it hardens, the curing period of concrete starts. We have to provide adequate conditions for this process to take place, and during this process, 99% of the strength of concrete is gained. So let's start with our infographic. The first point is that, this is the most important point of this curing, this methodology. It is that curing concrete does not gain its strength suddenly. It is a slow and a long process extended over 28 days. So you have to make sure, you have to understand this point completely, that the strength gain of concrete is not sudden. Okay, it's a slow process, and this slow process is called the curing period. After the concrete is casted and it hardens, by hardening I mean it's suitable enough for us to walk on it without any damage. That's called when the concrete hardens, all right? So when you're able to walk on concrete and you don't see any damage, it means the concrete has hardened. So the curing period of concrete starts. Okay, so after the concrete is casted and it hardens, the curing period of concrete starts as soon as you can walk on concrete. The curing period typically ranges from 3 to 14 days, depending on how big or small the structural elements and their corresponding loads are. The third point is concrete needs adequate temperature, levels of moisture, and humidity, which is the part of the curing process, so that its strength gaining process runs smoothly. If conditions are correctly provided, it would gain 99% of its strength and achieve its desired properties for its intended use. A smooth, hard, durable, fire-resistant, and crackless concrete will be casted if the member is well cured. So, after these points, we could say that curing starts once the concrete hardens, and it's the most important period of the concrete structure, during which it gains all its properties and all its strength and durability and its resistance towards different hazards, all right? So this is the curing period of concrete, which is extended normally from 3 to 14 days, as point number 2 says it. So moving on, it says what are the ideal conditions? The relative humidity of concrete should be kept more than 80%. Temperature should be kept more than 10 degrees, and continuous moisture should be provided at regular intervals, and the water which should be used for curing should be clean from chemicals such as chlorides or sulfates, and it should be clean from salts, and its pH should be less than 6. So it means it shouldn't be acidic at all. In fact, there's a small mistake here which I just quickly fixed. The pH of the water should not be less than 6, because if it's lesser than 6, it means that it's acidic, all right? So we want water with a neutral pH, which is usually 7. So the pH of the water should not be less than 6. It means that the water shouldn't be acidic. It should be towards the basic end of the spectrum. So ideal conditions are relative humidity more than 80%, temperature greater than 10 degrees, and continuous moisture at regular intervals throughout the day, and a clean water with pH not less than 6. So moving on, it says what are the methods of curing? Well, the first method is the ponding, which is mostly used for flat members, in which members are flooded to a depth of 50 millimeters. So hedges of mortar are made, and the slab is flooded to a depth of 50 mm. That's ponding. And then we have the wet coverings or gunny bags, which are mostly used for vertical or any other members. But for most of the members, we have these wet coverings or gunny bags. And then again, they're wetted at regular intervals throughout the day. Usually 2 to 3 times a day is more than enough, I believe. And then lastly, we have spraying direct water into it, which is the traditional method used mostly for masonry works and plaster. And these are the three famous, or you could say the most widely used methods of curing. And then we even have the expensive ones, the uneconomical ones, for example, different admixtures or different chemicals which are used for curing. But these three are the most widely used ones. So finally, we have the final summary. So it says that excessive curing is not as dangerous as undecuring. All right. So curing is very important for concrete members and for structural members. Even if it's excessively cured, it's fine, but it shouldn't be undue cured. All right. The curing shouldn't be less. That's dangerous, and it's uh, it affects the strength gain of the structural members. Okay. So the second point is cure OPC cement for a minimum of 10 days. I believe 7 to 14 to 20 to 25 days. For slabs, usually it's 20 days. So from 7 to 20 days, let's say that. So cure OPC for a minimum of 10 days. And then the last point is curing starts within a few hours after hardening. So once the concrete is hardened and you can walk on it without any physical damage, the curing period starts, and it extends for up to 14 to 20 days. So this was a very short and a summarized video of curing, which is an extremely important period of construction. It's an important period when it comes to the strength gain of concrete structural members. So stay tuned with us for more quick, easy, and simple civil engineering videos. I'm going to make different infographics of different short topics, and we're going to go through different topics. For example, we're going to go through the definitions and the ideal conditions. So, a quick and easy way of explaining what curing is. This is what I aimed for in my infographic. So, I hope you learned something, and till next time, have a good day, and thank you.